it's probably not going to be very quick, but I was just going to do kind of a all-together video of my birth story with Bella and my postpartum issues, just to kind of get those out there and share my story. I have Bella over here, so if you hear any noises, it's her. She likes to grunt a lot. And then Bo is taking a nap. Hopefully he'll continue to take a nap. If not, I may have to finish this on a different day. Anyway, I may not even be able to get started. So I guess I'll just start with Saturday, January 16th. I woke up feeling kind of nauseous that morning and just not really feeling myself. Obviously at 38 weeks pregnant, you don't feel that great to begin with, but I just knew something was off. And I got dressed. We were planning on running some errands to actually get some extra stuff that we needed around the house for when Bella got here. And so I got dressed and kind of sat down and realized that I was pretty lightheaded that morning. I kind of felt like I was going to pass out. It was really weird. And so I text my mom, kind of let her know what was going on, and she told me I really needed to check my blood pressure. So of course I did, and I don't remember the exact number, but it was something like it was like 130 something, I think, or 140. It may have been like 146/99. And my blood pressure stays normal. It stays normal. It stayed normal through the whole pregnancy with Bo. It stayed normal through the whole pregnancy with Bella. It always stayed around. I really hope Bo isn't about to wake up. I knew as soon as I sat down to do this, he would wake up. Anyway, so that was that morning. We went out and ran our errands, and I came back and took it again, and it was still high. And so I waited another couple hours because I had ate and waited a good hour, and it was like 150 over 101 maybe. It was high. It was higher than it was. It hadn't gone down at all. So I finally called my doctor. This was about 4 or 5 o'clock that Saturday. Called my doctor, told her what was going on, and so she told me I needed to go in labor and delivery and be monitored. So this would be the second time I had gone to labor and delivery in that week, and I figured they would just send me home. So I told Ben, my husband, to stay home with Bo, because Bo of course was napping, and my mom would just take me, and it wouldn't be that big of a deal. I didn't bring my bags, I didn't bring anything, because I just assumed I would be home. So we get there, they monitored me for a good probably 2 hours. My blood pressure skyrocketed. Like, I think the highest at one point, it was like almost, I think it was 156/120. And it pretty much stayed around that. It got a little bit lower, but it definitely never went to normal levels. My doctor came in around 7 or 8. I don't know. I can't remember now what exact time. It was later in the evening, and they had already warned me I probably was going to have to stay overnight. Anyway, my doctor called and just said I was going to be induced the next morning no matter what. So they told me to stay in the hospital. I called my husband, told him what the plan was. He made, I don't know what Bella is doing. He made arrangements with Bo to get him somewhere. And anyway, long story short, they told me, I was going to stay the night there. Obviously, I had to sleep in the hospital room, but they had to keep the blood pressure monitor on me all night, and it went off, I believe it was every 30 minutes to check my blood pressure. They were going to start IV fluids at midnight, and then start the Pitocin and things like that at 4 in the morning. So midnight rolls around, they started my fluids around 4 that morning. They checked me, and I was still only 1 or 2 centimeters, and so they started Pitocin, which I had had contractions throughout the night, but nothing was like, hold on, I gotta get a passy. I don't remember. Oh, I had had contractions throughout the night, but nothing serious. Obviously, considering I was still 2 centimeters. And then, once they started my Pitocin, I could feel the contractions, but nothing was, you know, still nothing was major. Anyway, so around 11 o'clock that morning, my doctor came in and broke my water, and I had a ton of fluid, and it was like so much water, like so much fluid. I felt like there was like 10 gallons of fluid with her for whatever reason. And I got my epidural around 5 centimeters, and see, once they broke my water, my contractions were like, boom, they were there. And I went to 5 centimeters pretty quickly, and got my epidural, which I was very worried about because I had 4, hold on, she's having some issues pooping. Anyway, so this video was so sporadic, I don't even know what I'm saying. What was I saying? Oh, I got my epidural around 5 centimeters because I just couldn't handle all the pain anymore, but I was really worried about it because I had 4 epidurals that did not work with Bo, and I pretty much had him naturally, which is something I don't recommend. That was the most pain I'd ever been through, but thank God my epidural worked through this pregnancy, and I had her at 5:47 on the 17th. What is wrong? And she is 1 month old today. Anyway, she was healthy. I was healthy after baby. After the baby was born. She was 6 pounds, 11 ounces, 20 inches long. She was just barely bigger than Bo. Anyway, everything was good at the hospital. You know, we had family come visit. You know, I was really happy. Bo seemed to really like her. He was really interested in her. He was always looking at her in the nursery when she was in there. We came home a couple days later. We got discharged that night, so we probably didn't get back to my house until about 6:30. And that is when my, anyway, we got home around 6:30, I think. My mom was there with Bo, and she left shortly after we got there, and it was like all of a sudden my postpartum depression and anxiety came flooding in. It was as if I turned into another person. I could not get myself to function. I could not get up to help with Bo. I could not get up to move and help with Bella. I could not do anything. I could not function. Like, I say that not even in a dramatic way. It was, the only way I can describe it is like an outer body experience, because especially as a second time mother, you think this is going to be easy. I know what I'm doing this time around. And like, you know, when the baby cries, you pick up on those cues, those cries so much faster than you do with the first one, and you know what she needs. But I literally could not get myself to move or function. I was in such an anxiety, depressed state that I couldn't function. I could not eat. I could not sleep. I could not do anything. I could not take care of my own child. And the first night, I did not sleep at all. Like, once again, that's not me being dramatic. I literally sat there and did not sleep at all. And I was trying to breastfeed, which is nearly impossible. I feel like when you're already anxious, and my milk wouldn't come in, so she was starving, and I was having to use formula, and which I'm fine with, but when you really are trying to breastfeed, you don't want to use it if you don't have to. And so the first night was rough. And so the next day, my mom came back over for a little while and helped out, and I seemed okay, but not at all myself. I still was having major troubles doing things, and that's when I kind of hit me. I'm like, this is postpartum depression. This is really happening to me. And so me dealing with that and knowing that I'm dealing with it was like an extra added stress that I could not deal with. And like, I was trying to get back on my anxiety medication, but at the same time, there were some that I couldn't take if I was breastfeeding, and so I was trying to figure out what to do. Well, my mom left, and that night I just decided to go ahead and take half of one of my anxiety medications that I knew I couldn't breastfeed with. I just decided I'm just going to formula feed her. This is what I'm going to do. I've got to do something to make myself feel better because I was in such a bad place. And my husband says I went to bed around 9. So did Bella. And he thought I was okay. He thought I was finally going to get some sleep because I still hadn't ate at that point. And I hadn't slept. And about 45 minutes after I'd fallen asleep, I just woke up in a full panic, in a full panic attack. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't see. I just looked at oh, bless you. I literally looked at my husband and said, I can't do this. I had this overwhelming feeling to just run away, just go away, just get away from my kids, my family, anything. I just needed to get away, but I literally could not breathe or see or anything. And it was a very, very scary moment for me, and I think probably my husband too. And if you've ever seen someone in a full panic attack, you can understand. If you haven't, it's kind of something you just have to see to understand the scariness of it. I have dealt with anxiety my whole life, but I've never dealt with anything like this before. Postpartum depression and anxiety is very different because it is completely hormonal, and it is completely something that you cannot control at all without medication. But anyway, my husband ended up having to call my mom, who immediately came over, and ended up having to call an ambulance for me to take me to the hospital. At that point, since my blood pressure had been so high after I had her, I was a little bit worried that maybe something else could be going on, because my blood pressure obviously at that moment was very high again. And I wanted to make sure my heart was okay because it was hurting and my chest was hurting. Everything was hurting so bad from this panic attack that it was putting more anxiety on me. It was just too much at one time. But my mom ended up taking care of Bella that night, and Ben went into another room and took care of Bo, and literally they forced me to come into our room and sleep. And I slept probably 6 or 7 hours. And at that point I hadn't ate or slept in 48 hours. So it was a very bad first week home, to say the least. And each day I have gotten better. And luckily the next day I had an appointment with my doctor to talk to her about it. And I've been on medication since. This is 1 month exactly, because Bella is 1 month old since I've had her. And the first couple weeks were a struggle. I would have really, really good moments, and then I would have really, really bad low moments, and I couldn't explain them, and I couldn't control them, and I didn't really know what triggered them. But the only things that I can tell you, if you are struggling with that or know someone, is to please get help, get some kind of medication in you, because it's not going to go away, and it may get worse. Absolutely go talk to your doctor. Talk to your doctor about things you can do, medications you can take, because there are medications you can take while you're breastfeeding. And make sure you have a support system. I thankfully had my mother and my mom who had to basically hold my hand some days to get me through it. But I did, and I've been really good. This has probably been the best week that I've had. I can now take care of both of them alone and feel comfortable doing that. I don't have bad moments. I think I've had one that I can think of in the past 2 weeks, and it's nothing that I can't get myself out of. But I just know that very first week was terrifying for me and probably one of the scariest moments of my life, because I could not control it. I could not control my brain, and it is a very scary thing if you're going through it. And like I said, all I can say is please, please go get help, because you will get better and you will get through it, but you have to have help. And I know that now. It is a very serious and scary thing. But we're doing good now. Baby is healthy. Bo is healthy. We all actually had a cold there for a while, but after that, this week I think we're all healing and healthy, and Ben is back to work, and I'm at home doing my thing, so hopefully I can do more videos now that I'm a little bit better. But other than that, I hope y'all have a good day. I hope this video helps somebody in some way. And I would love to talk to any of you if you want to comment below or shoot me an email or message me, whatever you want to do. I'd love to help you if I can. But anyway, y'all have a wonderful and blessed day, and I will talk to you later. Bye.